Slurpty Derp, Volume 7. The Memoirs of a Sound Designer with a Coffee Addiction. Today I've got a free lead / sound for you guys, which is called the Funky Fresh, because not only is it funky and fresh, but it's also funky and fresh. It's nice because it's got a really deep bassiness to it, but at the same time a really nice bright opening lead sound on it. So it's like a bass lead bass. Who plays the lead in your bass in your house? Ask my nan. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired this morning. I woke up about 5 a.m. and I couldn't get back to sleep. So I just try to sort of wake myself up with 4 coffees, but I'm still feeling pretty tired. So my jokes are not going to be very good today. Not that they ever are anyway, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I really like this little lead, and you can download it down below for absolutely nothing. All I ask that you do in return is just text your nan and tell her that you love her. So what we've got a little dirt mode as well here. And how about a slow mode? Yeah, lots of things to play around with. But how about we talk about the sound design of the patch, which is not super difficult, but there's a couple of cool little things that I've done, which I want to discuss with you momentarily. So let's turn off Michael Bay's disgusting overuse of effects. Let's turn off our Rush Hour 3 Grafilter Fish. Now we've left with just our oscillators. So I've got a saw wave starting off, and then I've got another one an octave higher and +4. And this one is tracked with the FM on my dirt setting, so we can choose to get dirty if we really want to, or we can keep things nice and vanilla, which is a lot safer. So let's stay on the vanilla mode. And then I've got a sine wave underneath it all, -24. That's really exciting. Can you even hear that? Yeah, you can. You'll hear it more later when I distort the daylights out of it. River. Everything needs to be going downstream, doesn't it? You can hear like a little extra nice bit of noise on top now with the river. So I've transmuted my synthetic energy into a natural realm. Then I've gone for a comb filter, and I've got to shout out my dude Dash Glitch, who is a great vital engineer, and he commented on the last video and said you should use the key tracking young artifacts, sir, and then you can only improve and join the dark side. So where I've got this melodic nugget of noise, it goes E, D, and then F, and it sort of goes back up to the E because the voicing obviously is on 1. So it's legato, glide, legato, voice 1. Yeah, so it kind of glides around the one note. It's like a lead sound, isn't it? So, yeah, because that happens, because it's moving around in pitch, I've turned the key tracking on. So the comb filter is going to move with the different MIDI notes, of course. You see it here. Now, of course, I could get in detail and get it, pitch the comb filter exactly to the right key, which was suggested by Mr. Dash Glitch. But in this case, I've just used the ears that are on my head, and I've just found where I thought it sounded all right. Let's randomize this because that's fun as well. So with the comb filter then, and the way it, with the key tracking on it, it moves it around, with the actual melody. So that's cool. Because if it didn't, it would be quite lame, wouldn't it? I mean, that's just a horrible frequency, but at this point, you know, it kind of moves around in a more controlled and structured environment. So, yeah, we've transformed what is quite a harmonically rich sound into something a bit more shaped. You know, we've sort of given it a bit of a haircut. We've lost a bit of power in the process, but that's no problem because we're going to increase the power in one moment. But then, cool. Well, this is pretty crazy, isn't it? Here. If I leave that filter up for a second. So what I'm doing, I'm filtering everything from filter 1 into filter 2 by clicking filter 1 here. But then I'm also upping the sort of power and amplitude of everything by also turning these back on. So getting that sine wave to come through again on this filter, and also the oscillator 2, which is the main lead. So both of these guys are coming through sort of again. So we're increasing the power of those oscillators essentially. And yeah, like I've got a low pass wobble on there, so no surprises. And the reason it's got a little bit of a lazy feeling to it, and that's because the stereo mode is turned on. So you can also see the left and right is broken up slightly, and that's, you know, that's that little stereo magic there. You know, it's keeping things a little bit off the grid in a stereo way, so that's very good because yeah, it's just got a bit more of a natural feeling and a bit of I like, yeah, one, that it has a bit of a lazier like timing, and two, that the stereo image is a little bit like kind of a little bit more random as well. And I can hear the left, on the left, it's like the lead is sort of emphasized a bit more, so it's sort of not a binaural effect, but kind of, you know, it's got this like stereo interest because the sound is being separated in the sound design process already. So I love that. That's one of my favorite things about Vital, is when I started using it was that stereo knob, because it doesn't really phase the sound or destroy it. It just kind of works quite nicely, algorithmically speaking, you know what I mean, sir? So anyway, we've got this, which is great. But let's now ramp things up. So we're going to distort, not really the living daylights out of it, more like just like sort of tickle it a bit with the soft clipping. But that definitely, it starts to blend that sine wave together. Sine waves are like low sine waves, just like blend everything together when you distort them, you know, together with something else. Like in the previous video on the parallel drum distortion, how I distorted the sine wave into the drums to get a kind of parallel distorted layer on top of the drums, much in a similar way. By sort of distorting the sine wave in with our saw waves, it just like, yeah, mashes it together in a beautiful pie. So EQing, let's do it again because I was quite lazy with this one, but I'm going to get a mid-range or a little low mid boost here somewhere. Yeah, that's cool. And I'm going to boost the high end like a little bit here as well. That's cool. Then I've got reverb to put the sound into a room, essentially. Just a little bit of mix and taking out the low, dirty part. Yeah, my ears can just about hear that, so don't worry if yours can't. Not saying that my ears are, you know, more superior. It's just that, I don't know, through YouTube, maybe the compression and like the quality, like the tiniest details might not be perceivable. I don't know. All right, but anyway, it's the principle of it. So put a bit of reverb on, for goodness sake. But yeah, not low end. Anyway, chorus. we could also modulate this guy on the LFO. Let's do that a little bit, just like a tiny amount. Yeah, I liked having that at the end this time. I was just literally trying out different combinations, different chain orders. Yeah, because you never really know which way is going to sound better for which sound, and that's why it's so cool, because you can just move them around. Like, it's probably the easiest thing like a monkey could do, to be fair. Like, any monkey with ears would have no problem in making this sound, to be fair. And then what I did with the compressor, like, I wanted to get more high end out of it, because I kind of, with that low end, with the low pass filter, it took out quite a lot of the grit from my nan's carpet. So in order to reintroduce the grit from my nan's carpet, I've used the compressor. I don't think carpets are actually gritty, are they? I don't know why I always say that. I'm a little bit of a weird person, to be fair. Bear with me. Like, I will try to become more of a real human. But, yeah, sounds. What are we doing? Oh, yeah, making music. So, yeah, when you turn up the attack and the release all the way down, it gets mental. So if you have the mix up, it's like going absolutely haywire. And it's bringing out all the details in the background, because it's kind of like we had this little bit of reverb, like such a tiny bit, but now when you bring up the mix, it's exaggerating that so much. But I like that effect. It's just that it's just too extreme. So I want this like massively over compensating Bugatti kind of like sound, but then I just want to use it in a small amount. So it's kind of like I'm time sharing a Lamborghini or something at this point. And you can hear that little tail of reverb with like a lot more high end on it now in the detail in the background. And yeah, by doing that, I've achieved my desired result of getting a little bit more grittiness back into my nan's carpet. So there you can really start to hear it about 0.1, but just to sort of get a little bit of that grit, but not too much. I'm gonna do it about there, 0.037. So yeah, and the LFO curve, maybe we can quickly shape it a little bit more interesting as well. Just to see what happens to the sort of character, if we could add a few more points here. Yeah, that's pretty cool, but I've kind of, I've sort of made it a little bit tighter, so there's a bit less overall volume over the period of time. Yeah, it's slightly tighter, so after doing that, I feel like I need to boost it a bit more. So let's give it a tiny bit more nanny grit. And then let's give it a tiny bit more drive, perhaps. There we go. That's pretty nice around there. So I'm going to save it as the Funky Fresh 0.2. And like I said, this is a free one for you guys today. And the reason that I'm giving it away to you for free is purely because I absolutely love ya, my G's. All right. Well, I think I love you. I mean, a lot of you watch my videos and I've never actually spoken to or met you, so it'd be quite weird for me to love someone I've never met. And also, how many people are you allowed to love? I'm not sure. But anyway, that is a cool sound, and I don't mind giving that away for free because I think it's not like, I wouldn't say it's generic, but I would say it's like, it's a sound that has probably been made before, quite similar kind of sound, you know what I mean? So it's not like something like absolutely super new or anything like that. Like, it's not like we've resampled like a lizard being cut open by like a machete and like thrown into a in the inside of a kick drum and like, you know, rotated around with a like in a towel and then sort of like thrown out of a window to land on like a puddle of Smarties, and then like sort of, you know, pitched all of that up 7 semitones and then resampled that like into Vital with a sine wave. It's not like we've done something like that crazy, because we've just used the oscillators already in Vital and the comb filter and stuff. Yeah. However, it's quite a wicked sound in my opinion, and I would definitely use this in a track as well. And it sounds like a nice little switch up section. And yeah, that's the Funky Fresh Point 2. Make sure you go and grab it down below. Feel free to use it. And for goodness sake, just don't do anything that I wouldn't.